Where is that girl? Where is she? Lavinia, what are you doing? Where is your little pet, Sara? Look what she's done now. Lavinia held up a pair of shredded stockings. Ruined, completely ruined, and she did it out of spite. Where is that girl? She ought to be whipped. I'll have her... Was whipping okay back in this time? Oh, whatever. You will not. What did you say? You've been letting Tybalt sleep in your rooms. He got at your stockings, not Becky. That's claw-marked. Yeah, that's fair enough, to be fair. Like, what else is it going to be? I doubt a maid, who's obviously going to be in trouble if does it, is going to randomly hack at stockings. And you can't blame him either, because he's just a cat and that's what cats do. I think at this point she's just looking for someone to shout at. You stupid fat-faced fool. Girls. Lavinia's enraged tones had attracted extra attention. Lavinia, I'm surprised at you, shrieking and carrying on like a fishwife. What a way to behave. It's not befitting of a lady. You ought to follow Sara's example. Sara is always a model student. You could learn a great deal from her. Yeah, I think this is sort of going into why she's so sad and angry. Lavinia's head jerked as if she had been struck by a blow. The ruined stockings drifted, forgotten, from her numb hands. Yes, Miss Minchin. She is somewhat bitter. I wonder if it's getting to the point where we should just skip. I guess 6 sympathy, we already have like all of it, right? I guess we don't mind doing that. Yeah, we don't mind doing that, it's fine. Sara sat at her desk unmoving, a pen kept poised between her fingers in preparation for the words that had not yet come. Oh god, are we about to start writing 1800s fanfic? You are studying that paper very intently, mademoiselle. Are there secrets written upon it? Look, there may have been a war going on. Invisible ink exists. We're just trying to figure out how we can get to an oven to burn it. I wonder if that's actually true. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that I've never read, you know, the whole invisible lemon ink, put it in an oven and then suddenly it burns and you can see the real letters. I don't actually know if that's true, because I'm pretty sure I've never read it in a history book. It was kindly teasing over the still blank page, but Sara considered the question seriously. Not that I can read, and I haven't written any of my own, not yet. It would be an interesting sort of magic to write words on paper that some people could see, but it might be even more interesting if you could read words that hadn't been written yet. But then, I suppose if you could read them first, you wouldn't be the one that was writing them. Exactly. Yeah. That was the sound Sara had learned of polite acknowledgement without understanding. Yeah, that is... Look, Sara, you can chat shit all you want. I'm just going to be over here attending to my duties. I'm preparing to write a letter to my papa, you see. I want it to be just right, so I keep turning the words over and over in my head. I don't want to send him a page full of blots and scratchings if I change my mind. I'm sure he would love any letter from you, even if it were nothing but scribblings. Yes, I suppose he would. Still, I want to do my best. Sara thought a bit longer and then asked, have you written to your family in France, Mariette? No. Do you need paper or ink? You can use my desk when I am out. If you would like me to leave you some time without interruptions, I could... Have you considered that she doesn't have anyone to write to, Sara? Mademoiselle, you should not worry about such things. I know how it feels to be far from the place you knew. You must miss your family very much. It is perhaps so. Then, Mademoiselle, I did not leave my family in France. I had already lost them many years ago. Sara Crew, you're being naive again. Fuck's sake, it's like you're only 7 or something! Sara breathed out, hard as a sudden pang of sympathy knifed through her breast. You are an orphan? Of that I do not know. Seeing that, I've always wanted to do a terrible French accent for her, but I can't muster up the will to do it. There's been too many series in which we've done that shit. Seeing the concern on her mistress's face, Mariette was compelled to explain herself. Mademoiselle, it is very difficult for a woman to raise a child. You cannot work with a babe in your arms. My parents left me in the care of a small couple who owned a small inn in Limoges. That is where I grew up. My mother visited me as a child when she could. It was not often. Then one day I realized she would not come back. I do not know what happened. There was no word. She only did not return. I believed that she must have died. She may have run off because she didn't love you, okay? Did you consider that? I'm saying useless. I do not think she would have abandoned me by choice. If Sara had been older and Mariette younger, she would have hugged and comforted her, for Sara was a tender-hearted soul. It was more difficult in this situation to know what to do. Mariette did not seem to be greatly wounded by her loss, only wistful. Perhaps it was so long ago, as with my own mother, she does not much remember or miss her. Or perhaps it is because she is an adult now and she thinks that she must be strong. Whatever the case, I think you're right. Your mother must be in heaven now, watching over you. I am certain she was a kind and loving woman, and that she would never forget you. Ah, how do you know this, mademoiselle? She doesn't know what to say, so she's guessing. She rose from her desk and stood straight. Because you are a kind and loving person who looks after others. You are not my mother, but you are like a mother should be. I'm not sure there's enough eye socket for my eyes to roll back far enough. I am sure your mother was just the same. And then Mariette did something unusual. For no particular reason, she reached out and laid her hand atop Sarah's little dark head. It felt warm. Merci, mademoiselle. Is that not more condescending than it is useful? Whatever. New week. Woo! When's it going to be Act 1, for God's sake? Act 2, even. As little Lottie walked past the classroom, which should by any rights be empty at such a time, she heard a most curious sound. The noise was faint enough that most ears might have overlooked it, but even in its quietness it was a sound with which Lottie was intimately familiar. It was the sound of a girl crying. And so it was that Lottie, who had never been known for her sympathy, padded into the classroom and found, seated on the floor with her arms hugging her knees and her eyes streaming with tears, Lavinia Herbert. What's the matter? Go away! I'm not sure Lottie is the best person to be conducting these negotiations. Lottie herself enjoyed being fussed over far too much to imagine that anyone else might truly mean it when she demanded to be left alone. Lottie came closer and laid her plump little hand on Lavinia's shoulder, petting the older girl as teachers had petted her. There. Don't touch me! She lashed out, arm and elbow, striking the smaller child full force and knocking her away. And she started crying. Yep. Caught off balance, Lottie twisted and fell hard upon her knees, skidding slightly on the floor as she landed. Uh-oh, she caused us bodily harm. Yep, she's crying. Lavinia's tears had been quiet, Lottie's were anything but. Sara was, at the time, in another room entirely, curled up in the window seat and enjoying a recently acquired book. Between one word and another, her concentration was disrupted by the sound of distant howling. Yeah, you go over there and tell them what happens if someone interrupts our reading time. Go over there and call them shits. Probably not gonna happen. For all the stories she told of heaven, Sara would be the first to admit that she herself was not an angel. She felt obligated to leave her book and look after her adopted child, but was not pleased about it. Oh, fuck you. Maybe if the reason was I don't like being distracted from anything, but it's more the fact that, oh, sorry, I'm reading a book. I wouldn't expect you to understand what would happen if I had to be forced away. It's like, oh, fuck you. Thus, when she stomped into the classroom and found Lottie on the ground nursing her reddened knee and Lavinia standing over her, Sara herself felt quite snappish and unreasonable. Stop this minute, you crybaby. Stop this minute. I'm not a crybaby. I'm not. You are. You nasty little spoiled thing. I should slap you. Sara. Sara whirled on Lavinia, who appeared to be the root cause of the disruption of her reading, and whose face was now quite dry. Well, I should like to slap you. Immediately ashamed, she struggled to restrain herself. But I don't want to slap you. No, I do want to slap you. I should like to slap you, but I won't, because we are not little gutter children. We are both old enough to know better. You're like fucking 7. I forgot to put the Portugal flag over the fucking fan again. Oops, you'll just have to deal with the fan being there. Ah, yes, your Royal Highness. We are princesses, I believe. At least one of us is. It stung more bitterly than either of them could have expected for Sara to hear her beloved fancy mocked in such a tone. She felt the blood rush up into her face and tingle in her ears. But she stopped herself. A princess did not fly into rages. It's true, sometimes I do pretend that I'm a princess. I pretend I'm a princess so that I can try and behave like one. Dear me, how grand. I hope when you ascend to the throne you won't forget about us. I won't. You think you're the one who's special. You're wrong. Just you wait, Sara Crew, you'll see. Lavinia left her room, her neck stiff, her head high. Sara, she... Hush, hush, Lottie, it's all right, never mind. Come and sit in the window seat with me and I'll whisper a story to you. Will you? Will you tell me about the diamond mines again? Of course. God, that's going to be awkward having to explain that to our dad, isn't it? So, who's this that you've come back with? Well, we sort of adopted a child, lol. Hope you don't mind. Man, our vigor is ridiculous. What was Grace again? That one. So, what was the one where we got lots of Grace? We already have artistry. I don't really want to do that. We get a little bit of knowledge if we're lucky, but with that. Right, maybe we'll just put 1 into this just in case. Because that, like, oh, fuck it, let's just put 2, because it sort of, like, doubles into vigor as well. Okay, good. Bad one. Okay, that's an okay one. That's a bad one. That's a terrible one. Alright, that wasn't great for sympathy, considering that's what we were mostly doing for 3 days, but whatever. Mademoiselle, there is a letter for you. Oh, another letter from Papa. It does not seem so long at all since his last letter. A longer wait might make me feel quite lonely and neglected or risk him fading from my thoughts, but this is just right. I wonder if he has explored the diamond caves yet. My dear little missus. The letter did not seem to be written in such boyish high spirits as usual. He was not very well and was evidently overweighted by the business connected with the diamond mines. You see, little Sara, your daddy is not a businessman after all, and figures and documents bother him. He does not really understand them, and all seems so enormous. It gives me a splitting headache even to consider these matters. Perhaps I am the one who should be away at school learning how to manage such things. Oh, what witty banter from our father! And if I was not feverish, I should not be awake 1 half of each night tossing about, and spending the other half in troublesome dreams. If my little missus were here, I dare say she would give me some solemn good advice and put my mind at ease. Oh, what wouldn't I give to have your little arms round my neck this minute? God grant that these matters be soon resolved and grant me leave to return to England for a visit. Why do I think he's going to die? Oh no, I feel at some point we're just going to get a death message. A visit? Oh, Mariette, my papa may be coming for a visit. Are you sure, mademoiselle? It is a long way to travel. I do not wish you to be disappointed. Well, he doesn't promise that he can, but he does say that he would like to. I'd like to have an orgy with 10 amazingly attractive women, but, I mean, you know, that doesn't mean it could happen. She read a little further along. He's also asking what I want for my birthday. Wouldn't it be lovely if my papa were here for my birthday? Oui, mon cher comte pas trop. There you go, cocked that up, didn't I? I know, I mustn't fasten my hopes on it, but it is a beautiful thing to believe. Right, let's try and figure out what he said. She said, yes, I don't want to get your hopes up. I don't want to pass judgment. I don't know what this word means, I don't know what this word means. They're sort of integral to this sentence. Let's just assume that. She looked down at the letter and smiled. Papa is asking if a doll will be an acceptable present. I told him I didn't want a lot of dolls, but he says a special doll might be a companion for Emily while I'm busy in with classes. That is a pretty thought. Yes, she must be a very special doll. You see, I'm getting very old, and by the time of my next birthday, I do not think I should be given dolls anymore. This will be my last doll. There is something solemn about that, don't you think? Of course, mademoiselle. If I could write poetry, I'm sure a poem about a last doll would be very nice. Sure, but I cannot write poetry. I've tried, and it made me laugh. It did not sound like Watts or Coleridge or Shakespeare at all. Perhaps when you are completely too old for dolls, you will have more of a talent for poetry in exchange. Do you think it could work that way? I never know how I will change, even though I am very different every day. Sara set the letter aside and knelt to address Emily. I should respect the last doll very much, but nothing could ever take your place. You're talking about this like you're Jesus! You're not! You're a fucking 7-year-old... I do hope you do not become jealous of each other and can be very good friends. I'm sure they will. Hey, if it helps, it's all fucking make believe anyway. I don't know what to do. We might honestly just skip it, because 7 knowledge is a lot to take, and we don't know what we'll need, and we don't know when Act 1 finishes. Act 1 could finish, like, really soon, and then suddenly we'll be left with, like, no knowledge. Fine! Whatever. Keep the events rolling. Mademoiselle! Yes? Her maid held out a book. It was the copy of Poems Antiques the Ermengarde had gifted to her. I finished reading this, so I thought that I should offer it to you. I'll offer it... Oh, well, yeah, I guess actually it wasn't ours. It was Ermengarde's. Oh, that is very kind of you. I do have a great many books, though, and that one is yours especially, so I don't want to take it away. Mariette smiled and shook her head. I didn't mean to give it away, mademoiselle. However, I think there is a poem that you will particularly enjoy. It's called Naive 7-Year-Old Little Bastard. Close enough. Sarah's eyes widened. Is it an Indian poem? It is a French poem on the subject of India. I believe the writer may have visited the place himself. Ooh! And she touched the book reverently, as though a portal to faraway lands might be contained within. It's not going to be. Then, thoughtful, she turned away and crawled up onto the bed. Will you read it to me? It is your book after all, and I think that I should like to hear it in your voice, the voice of France. I'm not sure the monarchy is going to agree with her decision there. France has many voices. I will read it to you if you wish it, but I'm not experienced in dramatic reading. I may not do it justice. It is a very long poem, and my throat will have fatigue. Your throat will have fatigue? I think somehow you'll be okay. Then perhaps if you read only a little bit at a time? How long is it? What, is it a fucking 100,000-word novel by itself? Hey, can we find this stuff online? What is it called? Bagvat, right? Bagvat, poem. France. I don't know. First of all, let's see if this exists, I guess. Alright, turns out there's a lot of things called that. 700 verse Hindu scripture. That's definitely the wrong one. Okay, so basically we've no idea. Gonna guess no. It could be something we do together every day. I would like it if you sat on my bed and read it to me. I think it would be nice. Alright. Why does she look so different? We look like I feel we're supposed to, right? With the art that's happened, that we've seen, we look like that. She looks like someone who's just gone, right, come on, it's time for your eye stretching lessons. Oh, I don't want my eyes to be any further apart. No, come on. We're gonna stretch the skull and you're going to like it. And so Sarah leaned her head against Mariette's shoulder and listened to that soft French voice speaking of birds and wine-purple wings, monkeys in the vines and sleeping yellow-bellied tigers. Oh, I wish I could see it all again. What are the most beautiful things you saw in France? Did you ever see the opera ballet? Oh no, that is not for me. What she means is she doesn't have enough money. Yeah, you see what I mean? I think it might be because of, like, perspective. So it looks like she's fine because she's looking in another direction. But her eyes look fine here, and they just look weird. All they need to be is a bit bigger, and suddenly we'll have the horrific Clanadard. The most beautiful sight in France, for me, would be the city of Orléans. Orléans? I don't know how to say that. I say Orleans and get sneered at. It is not so famous in Paris, but it has much history. A city, not a chateau or a mountain. There is a statue of Jeanne d'Arc. Thank you. We all know she's called Joan of Arc, you stupid French bastard. You would like that? French trying to come over here? Change our names? This is why I voted leave. It is a remainder of the power of faith and dreams. That will timestamp the video, won't it? Are you very homesick, Mariette? I feel sometimes that it might be selfish of me to keep you here. Mademoiselle, you should not worry about such things. But I do worry. It was my wish to come here. I am content. You don't want to go home? Home is not a place that exists for me anymore. She's trying to be really nice. And in any fashion, if I am happy in this position and do not wish to leave it, I would rather be a maid of a petite princess like yourself than work in a gentleman's house. Oh, does that mean that if I return to my papa's home that she will not accompany me? My papa is a gentleman. Hang on, what did that say? Like yourself than work in a gentleman's house. Oh, right, okay. House, got it, okay. I thought she meant be a lady of the night for a house of gentlemen, not a house in which a man resides in a residential area. I don't know why she would not wish to be in his house, though. It would be wonderful. Great, okay. Please don't be Lottie. Okay, no, we're all outside. Can't wait for Lavinia to throw a hissy fit about us being the best. Woo!